Okay, let's do this. Backyard Professor Chess videos. I've got another incredible game for you by Makaganov and Friedstein. D4, knight f6. And we have a e3. Makaganov is white, d5. Friedstein is the black pieces. Knight d2. Interesting development. c5, gonna hit the center. You want to hit the center. You're advancing to the center. He's going to maintain with this push a presence in the center. We've all heard this. It's like a broken record, and yet it must be done because there are still people out there who are not getting the message. And so we emphasize it again. Knight gf3 again. Look. Maintaining that e5, right? Okay, let's keep our eye on this stuff. Knight b to d7. Look. Knight b to d7. The e4. They are fighting for central squares. Who gets the prize? Yes. Very good, very good. Bishop d3. Come on out, my man. Let's see what you've got. And now, this is possession of the center by the pawns and the pieces, right? You can clearly see this. Now, D is not going to let E5 do that. Snap off his saucy little head. E5 is gone. However, remember, the knights are also fighting for E5. So the knight says, off with his head. And he chops his head. And the other knight says, yo, Bubba, you are so out of line. Get out. And he chops off his little ponytail. And the queen says, nope, not going to happen. I'm going to cut off your little ponytail. So, nice ownership of the center. Nice ownership of the center. This is going to be a battle. And I'll predict right now, it's not going to center around this edge square A5. You heard it here first on the BYP. I'm just saying. So, knight comes back to F3. What's he doing? Well, first he's tickling the queen. Gotcha, little girl. But he is chasing around. So the queen comes back to C7. Now, again, a long power piece does not lose a lot of its influence just because it's far away. It's still got that. It's still got this entire column. Yes, there's pawns in the way. I get that. It's all good. I'm just showing you the influence of that queen still. So this is something very important to keep cognizant of. Slowly gaining space. B3. Bishop e7, preparing to castle. Not a bad strategy. C4, fighting for the center. Fighting for the center. Did I say fighting for the center? I meant fighting for the center. D takes C4, fighting for the center. Did I say fighting for the center? I said fighting for the center, and they're showing us. I'm just saying. I know I sound like a broken record, but that's because these guys are fighting for the center. Did you recognize that? And B takes C4. Now, the center has opened up somewhat. I mean, there's not as many pieces on those squares, but the influence is still here in all areas. Okay, I'm just pointing that out to you. I know this is old hat. That's child stuff. Show us the good stuff. Hang on to your sweet little britches, Bubba. I've got a screaming game to show you here. This is going to blow your minds. Castle, castle. Very good. Castle, castle. Very good. Okay. Everyone's tucked away. Now it's time to do the two pawn shuffle or the two knight shuffle or the two bishops. Just watch. These guys are going to really scream through this. Now here it comes. Bishop G4, nice pin on the queen. So if he doesn't do anything about that, this is still fighting for the center. If he doesn't break the pin by moving the queen, or if he doesn't chase away that bishop, then this is a logical if then in philosophy. Pay attention. This square and this square is not being covered if that guy's pinned. So just keep that in mind. Bishop B2. Now this is kind of called a half of the bishop move, more or less. And yet he goes all the way across, touching the defender of that castled king, which has a nice, majestic mansion over there. Fantastic. This guy's got a nice, majestic mansion. These guys are loaded for bear and ready to roll. Rook A to D8. Grab the file, pin the bishop to the queen. Now, observe. Pin the knight to the queen. Check. Pin the bishop to the queen. Check. White better pay attention. Right? This is going to start getting serious quick and solve it in one quick, swift move. Queen C2. Very nice, very nice. But that does not take away the influence of the pin, because now, and black plays this really good. Now, black says, okay, the pin is over, so I'm going to take the knight and I'm going to disrupt the structure of the castled king. We've all seen this before, but it's really important to recognize this. And now, in order to forestall any kingside attack, black feels it's helpful to push the H6, limiting the bishop if he were to drop down and press a center pawn. Okay, notice the battery of the queen and the bishop, and he saved his H pawn by pressing the pawn. So that's not bad. I agree. It is a somewhat weakening move, but in this instance, it's not all that bad. I've got to move some of my other pieces on my big chess set so I don't knock them over in my dashing excitement for this fantastic game. Rook A to B1, grab the file, hit a target. Yeah, the bishop's in the way, but what an interesting discovery that could make if he gets this white bishop here and puts the rook here. And there's all kinds of nuances beginning to show up. That's all I'm pointing out to you. Knight will come to reposition himself, and why not? They're all perfectly developed at this point, so you don't have to just leave things where they are. And technically speaking, he's not doing a lot there, right? So let's reposition. Let's put him to where he's more useful. Is always a very good strategy. And bishop comes to E4, and look at the pawn the bishop's touching. That B pawn, right? Okay, now this is interesting. So now, nice, because he solidifies his queenside pawn chain. He gets rid of the target that he wanted, giving him an absolutely magisterial diagonal into nowhere, because there ain't nothing out there but desert. The action's over in the big metropolitan city. Go that away, that away. Okay. This begins to get good. F4. He played B6. Notice the doubled pawns. However, they aren't blockaded, and he is getting them mobile, so they are not a weakness at this point unless they become blockaded and prevent black from gaining space and or coordinating an attack on that king side, because that's where his double pawns are. So black's kind of falling down on the job if he doesn't try to blockade those. And of course, the front pawn becomes the target of a doubled up pawn. So white is doing the right thing. Don't just leave those little squirts idle playing tiddlywinks or chess at home. Get them out there in the field. Yeah, very good, very good. We're going to make progress here. Bishop is going to come to f6, directly challenging the file. And at this point, don't exchange the bishop. Don't exchange the bishop. Just because your challenge does not mean you have to exchange. And he doesn't. Okay. He didn't let us down. Okay, good, good, good. Bishop c1, knight d6. Now here we go. Touching the bishop and the pawn. Yes. And bishop comes to f3. Don't exchange your bishop in this kind of a position for the knight. Don't. No. Why? What are we seeing? A board that doesn't have a lot of pieces in the center area so that it is open. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, the diagonal, so what? But that doesn't mean the bishop's weak. He can also go that away. So good move. Don't let the knight trade your bishop. Not right now. Rook fe8. Get those rooks. Target e3 pawn. Yes, it's protected. That's not the issue at this point. He's taking the central open files with the rooks, adding power to his game. Very nice. Rook b3. Okay, now the rook lift. Very interesting move. When you see your opponent, and I can't emphasize this enough, I've done it in previous videos a few years back that no one paid attention to. Now you need to pay attention. When the rook does a lift, watch out. He could clear this file out, this row, and come over to here with lots of attack power. So you know he's thinking, especially with this setup, he's thinking, I gonna get another power over there. This is a rook lift. Very important to see it if your opponent does it. And if you can do it, then you do it. And we're going to see it beautifully illustrated. Magnifico! Magnifico! The rook will dominate. You watch. You think I'm bluffing. That's a very important point. Now, knight b7. You say, well, now the knight's wandering. Hold on, not just yet, not just yet. B comes up to d2. Now, you notice this isn't mindless wandering. They're trying to rearrange their pieces. He's gotten his rooks in. He moved his knight back so that he could shift him over. He's got his rooks in. He is maneuvering his bishop and his rook and his queen. So they're maneuvering, looking, probing for weaknesses. This isn't just, oh, well, I've got to make a move. The time clock's running down. Not even a little bit. So let's pay attention to how they do this. And now rook comes back to b8. Okay, let's see this. Bishop d5. Very nice. Look at that outpost, you guys. That's fabulous. Now, again, to reiterate, because we learn through repetition, no pawn here. No pawn here. that can threaten that bishop. The pawn is already past the point of redemption. This is a permanent outpost. The only way to get rid of that powerful bishop, yes, worthless diagonal. Well, he's got a target, but it's not like the horse is out there to pasture by himself, right? But now look where he's pointing. He's pinning the f7 pawn to la king. This is big. Now that bishop is magnificent. That bishop is outplaying that knight without question. In the minor piece war, at this point, that move makes that the strongest minor piece on the board. Now, I grant this bishop has a splendid diagonal, which you must keep your eye on that. But for now, the white bishop, okay? Now, will it last? What do you do when your opponent does something so annoying and aggravating like this? You play chess. You play good. You play hard. Knight d8. Now you're saying, well, yeah, now the guy's wandering. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Let's just give him a moment. And now, e4. Here comes those central pawns, and this is a big difference. There are no center pawns of black to oppose the white center pawns. This can get dangerous for black. Let's see how he handles it. Knight e6. Okay, now he's beginning to centralize the knight, and he is entirely correct of putting it back over there, because this is where white's coming in, right? So yeah, he wandered over here a little bit. Now it's time to get back into the action. So a little bit of wasted time, somewhat. e5. Now you know white is serious. Attack. This is it. He's attacking. And look at how he dominates that dark squared bishop, man. This is who. So does black pay attention to the threat? Would you? I probably would. I'm not going to lie. Watch what black does. Knight d4. I told you this isn't aimless wandering. The knight, in making his journey across the board and back again, has found a supreme outpost, and he too cannot be kicked off it with a pawn. This pawn is past it, and this pawn is past it. That's a permanent knight. And that's a beautiful knight into the castle king, and it's tickling the queen, and it's tickling the rook. I mean, look at the power of that knight on an outpost. An outpost is a pawn that will support the knight. An outpost is really important to have, and the bishop too is supported with an outpost. This is a fabulous game, is what I'm trying to tell you in so many long-winded words. And now you know why I named this game He Made That Move? You're kidding me, right? What would you do? Go ahead, be honest with me. What would you do? You'd probably do something like this, wouldn't you? No, I doubt it. You guys are way too smart for that. There's nothing threatening the king to do that with in the first place. Would you take the bishop? I mean, let's be honest. That wouldn't be bad. Right? I'm tremendously, totally serious. Here's what white does. Are you buckled in? Are you sitting down? Are you ready? White, kaboom, baby. G6, Queen G6. Do you see the inner logic? Electricity, man. Black had to have popped his eyes out. The pawn is pinned by that fantastic outpost of a bishop. And now Black has to be thinking, oh, crap. I wish I would have read my Jeremy Silman, except this was played in 1946. So Jeremy Silman wasn't on the scene with his magnificent texts, which we get to enjoy. Neither was Gary Kasparov with his fantastic texts. So let's see how Black handles this. Probably just about as good as he knows how to. And he does okay. But now we're in trouble. If you're Black, you're thinking, oh, okay. Now let's just take a moment. Hold on. You're thinking, wait a minute, dude. He's got a rook there. The knight takes the rook. He's up the exchange. Why didn't he take the rook? Because now this, and you're one move away from checkmate. Did you see that? That's critical. He takes the knight out of the game by hunting for material in a very dangerous position. There's the lesson. Yes, it really, you're on a fantastic outpost for just that reason, to beat the snot out of your opponent's army. However, with the particular electrifying position, you can't take the rook. You're better to go to Queen D7 at this point. And now, Queen G2. And you say, wait a minute, dude, you just showed us that ding, 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 wake up, man. You just showed us take the bishop with the pawn, and you've got checkmate, except the knight can save the day from this outpost and go here, covering the square. And then from here, you get all kinds of convoluted, complex stuff that I'm not going to go into for the moment. Just understand it would be premature for him to take the bishop just yet. So let's take the queen to G2. And now the bishop comes to E7. And we have, again, notice how all of the earlier moves begin to gel together. You had the rook lift, and now rook H3, right? Pay attention, man. In fact, put this into your games, because that lift and that crossover can be very powerful. So now this is getting serious. And because that he's kept the knight on that fabulous outpost, now he can come to a superbly important point of defense with that knight. So this is great chess, is what I'm trying to tell you. This is really cool chess. Okay, bishop C3. Now, the bishops are just mind-bogglingly powerful with the queen and the rook. Please see this. If the knight was out of there, there's the winning move right there. I'm just saying, there's all kinds of stuff going on. Notice how the knight is keeping the attack at bay. Great defender of a castle king if you play him right. Yes. So bishop comes to C3. All you have to do is start moving this, threatening the queen, making the queen do something funky, and you've got this, except for that pesky knight. So how doesn't the question arise? Okay, tactics time. Tactics time. We have a checkmate. This is a beautiful setup. You push that pawn, and he's got to take it. And then he's got to take it. And then the queen can take it. And then you've got a checkmate. So how do you get rid of this guy? Deflect him at least. Exchange him or deflect him. Let's see if something works. Bishop F8. See, everyone's going back now. He's paying attention. And yeah, he's reacting. So white is playing stronger in that he's getting black to react. C6. Look at the skewer. Tactics. Tactics, man. You always got to check. Look now. That completely worthless diagonal that we put no value on whatsoever. Yo, dude, you're going the wrong direction. You got to go that way. Look at the skewer he's got. Tactics, baby. Long-term pieces. Because for the most part, the board has been open. And yes, now it's not necessarily, but white has his pawns in the center, whereas black has no pawns in the center. That's part of the big difference in the strategy and the ability to put in powerful tactics. What do you do, Mr. Magoo? Well, you got to get out of danger. And, of course, you're going down the exchange. Fantastic tactic, that skewer with the bishop. Phenomenal. Okay, so you've attacked. You've done a spectacular tactic. Now it's time to regroup, re-cooperate, re-coordinate, etc. Yes, you can start calculating and keeping things calculating. You've got a lot of stuff here to work with. You've got still a huge angle here. You've got another rook you can pop up into here. There's a lot you can do. Where do you recongregate? If you say the edge, I'm going to flunk you. Queen D5. Right on the post. Look, you're up the exchange. You've got a position that is winning. Exchange the ladies. Take out his defenders because your position could win you this game if it doesn't go too hard into an end game, because he does have the pawn majority here and your pawns are suck weak isolated. So you got to be careful. You got to finish this guy off. Don't take this into a long end game or he might get you. There's a lopside over here on the queen side. You kind of have to keep in the back of your head. For now, he's not going to worry about it. Queen D5, and notice black's response, which gets him the gold star on his forehead. Absolutely do not exchange the ladies. Queen G6 check. Remember, he has doubled pawns. His king has been opened up. So, I mean, white says, okay, yeah, king H1, not a big deal. Now look at the forward movement of the queen. He's not playing passive. There's no passivity here. This is a terrific game, man. Queen G4. What does the rook do? What does the rook do? Rook D3. Notice how wonderful this rook lift has served white along the third row. Fantastic. He's behind the queen. He's got the bishop coming up. He's got a pawn pushing forward. This is nice. This setup is really, really nice. Queen E2. Notice where black is going. He's going forward into white's camp. He's not taking it. He's saying, oh, you want to fight? Here's a left hook. He's coming at him. I love this attitude of these two guys. This is great chess. Rook E1. Oh, you want to fight? Look at the beautiful coordination between the bishop and the rook, between the queen and the rook. That's nice. Between the rook and the bishop. That's wonderful stuff. Now you're starting to ask, wait, that black queen, she might be in trouble. You got to watch out for this. Well, she does get a pawn, queen take f2, and by this time you're saying, I'm starting to chew my nails just a little bit. I mean, this is worse than Abbott and Costello. The king is pretty much wide open. You do have a powerful combination of a knight and a queen potential attack. This is nip and tuck. That's what I want to point out. This is nip and tuck and rook. Three. Dominate with the rooks. The lifted rook is absolutely earning his weight in gold in this game. Rook f3. So, yes, black wipes out the whole pawn bunch of white. Wipes them out. Does white worry about protecting his pawns, or does he carry on with his own scheme? Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Forward. Squirt. Push the pawn. It's a central pawn. It'll disrupt the king side. It opens up the bishop. You've got a rook here that can play on these files. So be very careful here. Knight h4. Here comes the knight. Don't forget. The knight and the queen make a deadly combination. And the queen also has a row to slip slide in. So this is close. This is really close. And now, yes, rook f2. And you say, wait a minute, that's just flat stupid. He's giving his rook away. No, he's not. He's not. Watch. This is so cool. Queen takes the rook. Queen takes the rook. No! No! It's a sacrifice of the rook! Like Levy in Gotham Chess. He sacrificed the rook! Now you go check. And it's curtains. That's where black resigned. Because it's over. Of course, then I don't know if there's anything else he could do except take that rook. Because isn't it interesting? Yes, he got the knight and the queen together, but he never could actually coordinate them in a unified attack together. And so in a way, the queen took herself out of the game going material hunting instead of trying to work the position better. Right? You see that? So there's your chess game tonight, and what a game. I'm going to have trouble finding a better game to show you guys just for the sheer excitement of how both sides played. I mean, nip and tuck, back and forth, tactics, strategy, imbalances, and how to put those imbalances to use to better your power. This game, man, I'm telling you, it has it all. So there is your Backyard Professor Chess video instruction game. Thanks for watching. Appreciate all your support. I do have a PayPal. If you'd like to make a donation, make it a monthly donation, weekly, a one-time donation, $1 here, $1 there, $5, whatever. But thank you for your support because it allows me to keep on trucking with several more thousands of chess games that perhaps the majority of you have never even seen before and that are very helpful for us to improve our game. So appreciate all of you. Be good, do well, have fun, get lots of beauty sleep. I obviously have not been getting mine. Make friends, and I will see you next time on the Backyard Professor Chess videos.